Hi guys! I have just got this great big box of December goodies from Scrapbookcalm, so I thought I would have a little haul slash talk about what my plans are for December daily this year. So before I crack into this lot, I'll show you what I'm going to use for my actual album. So instead of using a binder this year, I am going to go with one of these 6x8 acrylic albums from the Stamp Spot, and I have got a couple of black rings on the side, which I hope will be big enough. If not, I'll have to change them out. And I grabbed a pile of 6x8 page protectors to go in here as well. There's all sorts of different ones in here. These ones are from Eco Park, and the reason I decided to go with this acrylic album instead of an actual binder is because I did buy a binder from Eco Park for this year and was super unhappy with the size of it. Let me show you what I mean. So this was my album from last year, and as you can see, it's reasonably full. This was the first time that I actually filled a whole binder in 1 year. Normally I can fit 2 or 3 years in an actual album, so this was quite full and kind of indicated that I'm probably going to need a whole album this year as well. I might not, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, so I picked up this album here from Eco Park and I really loved it. I loved the black and white gingham. It was sort of not too Christmassy. The rest of my albums are. I have picked ones that are sort of lighter or less Christmas themed, and this one seemed to fit, you know, that sort of category. But I obviously didn't read the sizing very well, and you can see here how much shorter and thinner and narrower it is from the Ellie Edwards albums. So I was a bit disappointed about that. And when I actually put the page protectors in here, they sit right from top to bottom and right against the edge. So I was really worried. At least these ones you can see there's a bit of leeway, so you can add bits at the top or things out the side. I've got a flip through of this album, so I will link that up here. But I just wasn't happy with the size of this, so I decided to keep this for something else and go with this acrylic album instead. So it is still obviously smaller than a binder, but it has enough room to grow if I need it to, and I'm just going to be less concerned about this one than an actual album. Plus, so much cheaper for me. I haven't really decided like what I'm going to do as far as like cover pages or anything else like that. I'm not big on foundation pages. I just do it as the days progress. Now also on that note, I don't do daily December dailies. As you'll see, all of my albums are labeled December not quite daily because I just do it as the need arises. If I've got a story, I put it in here. If I don't that day, then I don't worry about it. So that's why I guess some years I've been able to fit more or less in these albums. I just play it by ear. So that being said, let me show you what supplies I'm going to be working with this year. So the first thing I chose this year was the kit from Ellie Studios and a few little extras. Was a little bit disappointed this year with how sort of dark and wintry themed a lot of kits were. Being from New Zealand, the Southern Hemisphere, obviously Christmas is in the summer. It's the lightest, brightest, funnest time of the year, and I don't feel like those sort of blacks and dark greens and burgundy colors really suit the way that I celebrate Christmas in December. So I was a little bit worried about how I was going to document this year, and then I saw the kit from Ellie Studio and I thought, yay, finally some colors that I can work with. So I'm probably not going to open up everything for you because it's well documented what's in this kit, but they sold me with the sequins. There was some acrylic pieces and some wood veneer, a whole bunch of 3x4 and 4x6 cards, and these are all quite generic. None of them are super winter themed, which I really love. It makes it really easy for us down here to use, so I thought that was really great. I also don't tend to use a lot of these sort of journaling cards too often, but I actually thought these more sort of prompt based ones might be good for me because I am childless. It's usually just me and my husband. We have small family gatherings. I work from home, so I don't do a lot of Christmas dues or anything like that. Any December fun that we have is basically organized by me because I love this time of year, but that does mean I end up with somewhat limited stories. So these sort of prompt-based cards I think are going to be really helpful. There were some really fun puffy stickers, and this kind of shows, I guess, the colors of the kit. The pink and red and that sort of tealy coloured green. Those are just about always my favourite colours for any sort of December album. Bunches of tags, which are really fun to use. There were these circled numbers. Again, they're not super relevant for me because I don't do daily documenting, but I often have specific things on specific days, so these are quite handy for that. There's some more puffy stickers, and these are one of the ones I love the most from Ellie Studios. These random little hearts and crosses and dots and the little stars, and again, those sort of colours that I'm really loving. And then I'll open this one up because there are a couple of alphas in here which are always handy. I love their little cardstock alphas. They don't add a lot of bulk, which I love, although with that acrylic album I'm not super concerned about bulk this year. I can really make it as bulky as I want without worrying about busting out of an album. And a whole bunch of 6x8 papers, which again are in all those sort of sweet candy colours, which I really love. Now I did buy a couple of extras. I grabbed another alpha. I know these ones kind of look like they're snow-capped, which probably isn't on theme here, but to be fair, we have had snow in December once, so you never know. Maybe I'm planning for the future. A few more little acrylic shapes, and again in those sort of candy colours because I love them, couldn't help it. I especially love this mirrored gold type of acrylic. That's really up my alley. And these, now I will open them. I just could not get enough of. They're like little wood veneer confetti, and whether I use it as confetti or just as tiny little wood veneer, I have no idea yet, but there was no way I could pass that up. Gorgeous little Christmas trees, stars and hearts, so fun. So apart from my Ellie Studio goodies, I bought a whole bunch of stuff from Scrapbook.com. I just went through, I wasn't loyal to any particular brand or line. I just picked anything and everything that I thought I could use. Now, bearing in mind, all of this is not going to be for 1 year. I would estimate that all of this will last me for 2 or 3 Decembers. I usually add a few bits and pieces from design teams and that sort of thing, but I definitely have no plans for using all of this year. Oh, the other thing I slipped in here was I had this gorgeous sequin mix from the Sequinologist, and this I think was to match the Merry Days collection, and I did get a few things from the Merry Days collection, so I popped this one in my box because although I may well add extra sequins along the way, in fact if you know me you know I probably will, this one is definitely going to end up being probably a full page shaker card in there somewhere. So I'll go through this box. I might pull it all out and show you by category what I got, so you can see what I'm working with. So first up I grabbed some 12x12 papers, and there's a whole bunch in here. So I grabbed this one from Merry Days, mostly for this side because, you know, it doesn't matter that it's summer, I'm still drinking coffee, I'm still making marshmallows, I'm still having hot chocolate. it's that sort of seasonal thing. So this one was perfect. And it also has this really neutral star on the back, which will be handy as well. I loved this Fa La La pattern from Merry Days 2. Not so fond of that side, but definitely this one here. And any sort of cut apart papers like this I did pick out as well, because it gives me the opportunity to have a few more 3x4s. The 4x6s where it's, you know, sort of snowy aren't as handy for me, but I thought like all of these ones are basically super useful no matter what season you're in. So I picked a few of these cut apart papers to use for that purpose. Now this is from Pebbles, the Cozy and Bright line, and I just loved it because it was cute, but also the lightness of it. Again, didn't want any sort of heavy papers, and it does have a cute green dot on the back. This candy canes, you see here, so cute. This is again from Pebbles, Cozy and Bright. And again, just for the colors, but also, I mean, one of the big things we have in December is, I guess it's a total excuse for me to just eat whatever we want, and so there is candy all over the place. But it also has this awesome candy cane stripe on the back, which I do like to use a lot of in my albums as well. So again, here's another cut apart sheet. This one's mostly tags, but again, so many of these aren't too wintry themed, and I love the little sloth that they have. I have no idea what it's got to do with Christmas, but it is really cute. Again, another cut apart and the wee sloth, but I loved these wood grain ones and, you know, cookies. So again, more generic, so that's definitely handy. And a basic red on the back. Again, I didn't know what I was doing in terms of numbers, but this is Merry and Bright from Echo Park. And I don't know if you can see, it's got gold foiling on it. So I thought these would be really cute. These are little 2x2s in those 2x2 page protectors. So I thought that would be really awesome too. This is from that same line, so you can see it's got that same gold foiling on it. Just really beautiful Christmas trees. Christmas trees are a big part of my December too, so not so much the snowflakes, but definitely the Christmas patterns. This is from Echo Park as well, and I love this gingham, the red, and it's really orangey coral colour, but so pretty. A large one and a small one, which is handy as well. Again with the candy cane stripes from Merry and Bright Echo Park. Not super keen on this, but I like these more sort of graphic bold patterns. Another cut apart from that same line, and again it's got this gold foiling on it, which is just beautiful. I love this sort of bokeh effect one here, but there are some really cute elements on here, and I love this Fa La La one, and that's got those sort of colours that I was after this year, like the green, teal, pink and red. Santa, couldn't help myself. This is too cute. Look at all his different little expressions. So fun. I mean, you know, we don't have children, but I feel like this is the time of year where you can be as much of a kid as you want. And these gorgeous little reindeer on the back make this one even more perfect. This was a different sort of cut apart with the 4x6s, but the vertical orientation, so I'm not sure how I'll use them, but I really liked this one, and I thought this would be a nice frame for a photo, but I'll see whether I end up using them or not. We have artificial trees, so we definitely won't be collecting one, but if we did, this would be a great paper for that story. And as well as the 12x12 papers, I also grabbed a few 6x6 and 6x8 papers. So I grabbed the Cozy and Bright one as well, even though I had already purchased some of the larger papers. This one here, it's quite hard to see, but it is not gold foil, it's like glitter embossed. It's so pretty. So again, you've got the cut aparts and all of these pretty patterns with the glitter on them. They're not on all of them, of course, but anything glittery this season I am definitely after. This one here is especially pretty because all of these white bits have got the most beautiful white glitter on them. And then I've got a couple from crepe paper. So obviously this is this year's pad Merry Days, but I also picked up, I think it was last year's line Snow and Cocoa, only because I love the colors in it. And I will say I think this was probably the last one that they had at scrapbook.com. But you can see here much more my sort of colors with the pink and teal. So I figured that would be really helpful. There's some really cute graphic patterns in here. I mean, there's still the snow theme, obviously, but there's lots of other ones in there that aren't, which will be super handy. Plus, I loved all these cute little motifs, like the little reindeer and gumdrops. There's a whole bunch more sort of graphic patterns in here which are going to be easier for me to use. That being said, I did grab Merry Days, even though there is a heavily wintered theme in here. I loved the colours and I love the 6x8 pads more than the 6x6. When I'm doing a 6x8 album, it's definitely easier to have these full page patterns in them, so that's why I did grab the 12x12 papers as well. The 6x8 paper you can see here does have some gold foiling in it too, and not too many sort of wintry patterns. Obviously there's a few, and it was this sort of thing, this sort of darker colour range that I didn't love for Christmas, but these ones, much more my style. Again, another gold foil. That one would be beautiful as a full page as well. It's just completely gold foil on cream. Much preferred the other Santas. These ones all look a little bit old and sad. But there's a whole lot of possibilities in there, and it had that fa la la pattern that I loved in the gold foil. So that's all the papers that I'm working with. I grabbed a couple of other alphas, thickers. These are sort of chipboard with white. These are from the Merry Days line. Sort of puffy stickers, but I loved that handwritten kind of font. And I also grabbed these wood grain holiday words. These sorts of things are handy when you're not working from a kit so much. You get that sort of theme to be able to put into your album. I grabbed a few stickers, so I've got these chipboard stickers from Merry Days. I love the gold foiling, and this sheet here wasn't particularly winter themed. There's only a couple in there, so I really love that super thick chipboard for these kind of albums. It just helps to give a bit more dimension to the page. Same with these ones. This is from Eco Park, and they've got all of these little cute elements in here. I loved the Christmas trees and the stockings and that really funny Santa. And then I grabbed these puffy stickers from Pebbles because candy canes, gingerbread man and candy. So totally appropriate. Not so much the elves probably, but these other ones are going to be really fun. And then a stack of embellishments to work with. I definitely love embellishments in these albums, again, because I'm not worried about keeping it flat like I am in Project Life. So I grabbed the Merry Days ephemera pieces. There's so many in there. I can show you on the back here. Again, not too wintry themed, and lots of sort of journal card sized and tag ones to use too. I think there's, yeah, I was going to say, there's a couple of sets of enamel dots in here because, you know, I can't be without enamel dots. Grabbed a few different sets, and the reds, the pinks, and again the teals was what I was after. I grabbed the printed cardstock pieces from Pebbles too, the cozy and bright one. So again, it's got the little gingerbread men, and I haven't opened these yet, but can you see some of them are glittery? So again, love that glitter and sparkle in this album. And again, I grabbed some of these older bits from Snow and Cocoa just because they were there. I saw them and they are super cute. These gold adhesive wreaths, these sort of puffy sticker wreaths. thought will be really pretty for framing photos. And speaking of framing photos, I've also got these Snow and Cocoa frames. There's, I'm gonna say 8, there's 12. God, there's even more than I thought. Pretty frames for framing photos or slipping into pockets. Just none of them are super wintry themed, but they're all in that same color palette that I love. So that's it. That's all. And oh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? That's all. This is my huge haul of stuff for my December album. Like I said, this is probably going to last me for at least 2 or 3 years, possibly longer. The last time well, the first time I started documenting December was in 2013, and I bought a kit from Ellie Edwards, and each year I've only added a few bits and pieces to it, and last year was definitely the tail ends of all of that. And so I had a real good sort out, and I've only got maybe a couple of washi tapes left, and so I really did need to restock my supply of December goodies. And like I said, wasn't keen on any of the kits from Ellie this year, so instead I decided to grab a bunch of stuff and put my own massive kit together, which I have. Let me know down below if you've got any questions, and also tell me what your plans are for December. I know a lot of people get wound up about the rules of documenting December. I'm a firm believer that there are no rules. It should be just how you want to do it. So let me know what your plans are. If you've made it all the way through, thanks for that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.